looking things are monotremes, and that just means they have one opening, or as we call it, a cloaca, which means the same thing as drain. Maybe that's more information than you need to know, but these are the monotremes, and they're a very unusual group of mammals which lay eggs. So they're the only mammals to do that, and they are quite unusual. You only get them in Australia, and they have an interesting mode of life. These particular guys, these are the echidnas. They're spiky, so they're a convergent kind of morphology on something like a hedgehog or porcupine, because spikes work to deter predators. And these guys would have evolved this defence mechanism against things like thylacines, the Tasmanian wolf, which also used to be in Australia. Now, these guys are mounted in quite an unusual way, nothing really like the living animals, because the living animals are so weird that the person who taxidermied them probably had never seen one and probably didn't really know what to expect. So the legs, and this one in particular, look more like kind of a hedgehog's legs than they would do an echidna's, which splay out backwards, a bit more like one of these guys, which you can see in a sec. These are insectivorous animals. They have this kind of bill, this beak, which has a long tongue which they can basically stick out and use to pick up things like termites, mainly termites and ants. And they bumble around the Australian huge areas in Australia and just eat little bugs. They're great.
So they're kind of a bit different to placental mammals or marsupials because they lay eggs.
They lay eggs, and they don't have any nipples, and so they secrete milk through kind of basically modified sweat glands, which kind of beads on their belly, and then the really tiny little babies just drink the milk directly from the hair on the parent's belly. So they're a very unusual group. And the other member of that group will be the platypus, or the platypodes, which are a semi-aquatic version of the monotreme, and they feed on aquatic invertebrates rather than things like ants and termites. And they have this flattened tail, a bit like a beaver's tail, and they have this kind of flattened beak, a bit more like a duck's, hence the name duck-billed platypus. And when they were first discovered and specimens were first sent back to Europe, some people just didn't believe that they were real things and thought they were a chimera or something which had been stitched together to create this weird-looking animal. But they are a real thing, and their bills are particularly interesting because they're kind of fairly soft, and they can detect electrical activity from the prey animals that they're looking for in kind of muddy waters. So they're quite an unusual mammal. They're also one of the few venomous mammals, and they have a spur on their heel in the males, which contains a venom. So they're pretty cool little animals, actually. So everyone has a soft spot for monotremes, at least everyone I know, mainly because they're just weird. And there's nothing wrong with that.